Hi. So the tree is down, and Lily appreciated that I had this place put back together pretty much immediately, jumping all over the place. Um, I wouldn't be at all surprised if she comes up here and tries to push me out so that she can get back up here. Generally, putting up the tree is, you know, that's a pretty easy thing to do. You saw it because I film it for Vlogmas, even when I don't complete Vlogmas. um, I usually put that up because it's the first thing I film. But taking it down is a beast. It's actually not that bad, but it seems to take twice as long as putting it up. And generally I'll, if I don't light it for 2 days in a row, then I'm like, okay, it's time to come down. But I avoid it tremendously. But I got it taken it down today, because of, again, with these videos, what I've been doing is whatever keeps popping up in the week, that's what I talk about. And I usually am like basically chomping at the bit by the end of the week to make video, but this one, not a fun topic for someone with avoidant personality disorder. I expect that it's going to get like 6 views or something. But unfortunately, the thing that's been popping up this week is feedback, receiving feedback when you have avoidant personality disorder, if that's what you want to call it, feedback, criticism. I mean, it's one thing because I have done it in the past. I've asked people, could they watch out for something I'm doing and let me know if they see anything. And usually it's constructive criticism, and if I get anything, I'm like, okay, thank you very much for helping me out there. Rare, but I've done that before. However, this week especially, I suppose it's my own fault, because I've been talking about the process of making YouTube videos, which means that YouTube is sending me out in the algorithm to people who are interested in talking about the process of making YouTube videos. Kind of freaky like that. Anyway, but it's not even this. I have other people. Oh, here comes a cat. But she's staying over there. Other people I know have been getting feedback also on things that they're doing in their life. And again, it's one thing if you're asking for it, if you're aware of it, if it's even scheduled. Like, if you have like an annual review is completely evil to go through, but it's coming. It might be something that you dread. It might be something that you're like, you have to psych yourself up to, but then to get people seemingly helpful, are they really helpful or not? Because I don't really get a lot of comments on my videos anyway, and I don't get a lot of people commenting about comments that I make on other people's videos, but I actually worry about some of the comments that I get on this channel because it feels like they could be off-putting to people who have avoidant personality disorder. They could be actually even triggering to people with avoidant personality disorder to read some of the comments. So I'm sorry if that's what's going on. Um, okay, so I'm going to stop talking about myself and talk about something that can be helpful. So what does it feel like when you get feedback? When you have avoidant personality disorder? Generally, there's a double dynamic going on immediately, which is the shut up and flee and um, basically freeze so that you are no longer a target. And then also, especially if you are aware of what's going on in your life, if you've been through treatment, you wouldn't think that treatment would make this worse. I don't know if it is worse. To immediately defend yourself because you couldn't defend yourself when you were having your avoidant personality disorder created. So I mean, there's like this immediate snap reaction to shut somebody down with whatever thing they're trying to say to you, and to defend yourself and say, no, you're wrong about this, you're wrong about this, you're wrong about this. Especially if it's coming up out of the blue. I mean, it is the internet, first of all, but also people just think if you describe something, then you need and want it fixed, and that you should follow the direction and instruction of, I'm a hypocrite, right? I'm making this video, but they just feel like they automatically would have the authority and the right to tell you something, right? I mean, the immediate reaction is always, okay, well, somebody else automatically knows more than me, is aware of more than me, and so whatever they're saying must be right. That is going to be your gut reaction because you were trained to basically dodge bullying, or whatever you want to call it, by accepting whatever they came up with. And so that's how you got to the point where you started believing this crap that people told you, to the point where you now have avoidant personality disorder. So that's what you do. You just, what it feels like is, it feels like you're under attack, period. Even if it's good. It's kind of the same as like if you have somebody like giving you a compliment. It's the same thing as if somebody is saying something negative about you. You react the same way. Same thing with feedback. You react the same way. That it's, again, this is, if it's something you're asking for, and actually people generally, if you're asking for somebody to give you feedback, they're generally complimented that you're asking for their opinion, and so they're nicer about it maybe than somebody who's just like trying to, I'm going to drop a truth bomb on you. It's called a truth bomb because it's a bomb. So you feel like you're under attack. You feel like you have to defend yourself. And you feel like they must be telling some sort of core truth, even if it's completely the opposite of what your experience is. That's everybody else's experience is paramount to your own. So it's sort of like you're gaslighting yourself. And you feel like, is this like an alternate universe? That, first of all, who gives people the right to say anything to me? And second of all, who made them so insightful that they would be able to know this better than I would know this? Like, how did I not figure this out? And it's really rough if you've sort of known something, tried something, and it didn't really work, and these people are like, yeah, well, you just have to do this, and you're like, oh yeah, I already did that. But so now here comes how to deal with feedback, which is not going to fly. There's no way. I mean, if it was so easy, then this video would be easy, right? It's not easy. First of all, it's not easy to get any kind of feedback whatsoever. Again, even if it's positive feedback, you're just like, you feel like you're under the gun. So, same thing I always say. If it's possible, give yourself a break about it. If it's possible, give yourself time. And don't react immediately. And don't think, okay, these people are correct, and make changes based on whatever they say. I mean, it could be, it's like a job situation. That's most of the time you're going to get feedback in a job situation, or you're going to get criticism from the person who contributed to your avoidant personality disorder. In a job situation, probably they want a pretty immediate change, turnaround. But still, I wouldn't do it immediately. I would think about how to integrate whatever this feedback is into whatever you're doing in your real life. Because it could be that what they're asking for you to do, you're not capable of. It's also very possible that what they're asking you to do is going to be counterindicated by something else that you do with your job, and they're just not putting it together. I mean, and so you can kind of, it sounds disgusting to say, push back and negotiate in a work situation when get feedback, but it's also maybe necessary, absolutely necessary. And also, you might get feedback that has absolutely nothing to do with anything that's a reality. And it could be that there is an issue that was brought up by, whoever, and they're also bringing you the solution. And their solution is completely bogus. But when you're like, okay, well, yeah, okay, I can see that there is this issue, but there's this other alternate solution that you can come up with versus just doing what they say, that actually works really well for you and for everybody else. Facts. Okay. If it's whoever contributed to your avoidant personality disorder that is doing the feedback, I mean, as much as possible, know where that came from. And I would say, like, ignore it. Unless you're hearing it from other people also. And you could ask somebody, is this legit? I mean, let's go back to the personal stuff. For example, my mother, my mother told me forever that I couldn't whistle. Oh, I can whistle. But I don't understand why. But she said, if you whistle and you can hear air, it's whistling. If you can hear air at all, then that's not whistling. That doesn't count as whistling. And she would never clarify to say that what it was if it wasn't whistling. She would just basically do everything she could to put me on edge and make me second guess my reality, and then she could control me better. That's the kind of stupid thing I'm talking about. I'm not talking about feedback like, I don't know, like work feedback, like, for example, I don't know, that you're, not meeting XYZ, work goal or whatever. That's different. But again, how to do it, it's not, it's people might give you a straight line. This is how you meet this goal or whatever. That's what the feedback is. And whatever they're coming up with as this, just do this, may not work for you. And that's totally fine. Again, take it in and try to strip away the immediate gut responses that you have, because they are going to be protective responses, but they're not reality. Avoidant personality disorder type reactions are not the reality in the world. They are your protective mechanisms. Okay, so that is the flee or freeze response. That is the immediate defend yourself, push back against anything. And that's also the sort of taking this other person's opinion and having it override your own opinion. Those are the three things that happen most frequently when you're like in the midst of an extreme avoidant reaction. And none of those have anything to do with logic or reality. So, knowing that you've got this period of just reacting that you're going to be going through, give yourself the time and the grace to do that, and don't assume that once you get to that point that you have done this reaction of whatever, that is where you're going to stay. Once you've sort of had that initial heat blow over you, then you can pick through and say, okay, this is the meat of what they're saying. Forget about all the details and the fluff and the suggestions and all that crap. What they're actually saying is this one thing is something that maybe could be dealt with. And maybe it's going to be like a very simple little thing that you could change very easily and integrate into your life. And it's like, fine, okay, yeah, all right, I'll do this one thing. First of all, that'll make them feel better because you're actually taking their advice. But if it's not a really simple thing that, like, who really cares? Okay, I'll do it that way. If that's your reaction, go ahead and do it. If not, give yourself the time to think about what the criticism is, to see if it's actually in any way, shape, or form relevant to your life. Because again, if it's coming out of left field, if it's not like a review thing or something that you asked for, or if you're told, okay, you're going to have this project and we're going to then go through and analyze your work or something like that. If it's not like that, if this is out of the blue, then what they're saying, I mean, frankly, most of the time people are talking out of their ass. Okay, they're going to make generalizations, they're going to nitpick, and it's going to feel like, oh my goodness, is that the only thing people are seeing? And you're going to try to go in like this one person's opinion. This is how everybody sees me? What? No, this one person said one thing to you at one time about one detail. This is not how everybody sees you. So you can look at it and say, okay, is this one opinion worth making a change for? Have they told you something like, by the way, you're making this really difficult for yourself, and if you did this instead, everything would be easier? Well, then maybe that's feedback that, geez, yeah, maybe I am doing this thing in 5 steps and I can do it in 2 steps and take less than half the time. Hey, thanks very much. That was great feedback. Thank you for helping me. That sort of thing. But if they're just saying, okay, I wish, for example, calling people out, I legit have been getting comments saying, why don't you make videos about something completely different? I'm like, okay, seriously? Because this is the videos that I make, 1. And 2, if you want to see videos about something completely different, there's nothing in this world that's keeping you from not making your own videos. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, this is what my channel is about. One person randomly saying, make videos about something completely different I'm not going to do that. Do you know what I mean? Because this is what I do. And what? What? So, I keep using the videos as the example because I know that you guys can kind of experience it also. And depending on what your situation is, why you're getting feedback of any sort, I don't know. So, I mean, there could be, but it's probably something that similar. It probably is, see what that feedback basically, where that feedback is coming from. If it's your boss saying, hey, I need this changed because this is part of your job description, okay, that's serious. Take that seriously. Figure out how to integrate it. If it's one person that's just showing up and giving you an opinion, then again, first immediately put it on hold and let it calm down so it's not so nuclear. And then think about it and go, okay, well, that is their one opinion. Is there anything that's accurate about it all? Does it actually affect what I'm doing? Can I get any benefit whatsoever from taking their advice? And how easy would it be to integrate it into if you decided that, okay, this advice is pretty good, how easy would it be to take that advice? I mean, if it's like, yeah, if I started running marathons again, conceivably I would have a healthier heart, but I don't have time to do that. And it was hideously boring when I was doing it before. And I live in the northeast of the United States where it's like incredibly snowy. So no, I don't think I'm going to be doing that. Do you see what I mean? That should be your reaction. Your reaction should be not, oh my goodness, this is the word of God that's just come down and I need to change based on that. And it also, the super defensive, I'm not going to have anything to do with whatever you're saying, also could kind of be shooting yourself in the foot. So let everything sort of settle. And then you authorize yourself to analyze the advice that you've been given so that you can, instead of just knee-jerk taking the advice as in whole, this is what I should do, I've been told to do it. Maybe you should, maybe not. And that is how you deal with feedback, which is insanely horrible to get any feedback when you have avoidant personality disorder. It's really awful. So I say this all the time, but give yourself a break about it. You're going to feel like crap if somebody gives you any kind of feedback whatsoever. That doesn't mean what they're saying is true. It means that they're triggering you because feedback, good, bad, even if it completely perfectly aligns with what you are doing, like not even what you want to do, but what you're already doing, and you're like, oh yeah, I've already implemented this. If you get feedback, you're still like, oh my God, that's, ugh. Yes, that's what happens when you have avoidant personality disorder. So give yourself a break about that, because that's not reality and that's not you. That is the knee-jerk reaction of the personality disorder that's causing you to just be super reactive to that sort of thing, because it's like the worst. I know that's terrible, but it is the worst thing. I mean, for real, I go through dealing with deaths better than I go through dealing with feedback, as gross as that is. But it's the truth. It's just a horrible thing to go through. And I see you and understand if it's that horrible for you too. And that's just, it is the nature of the beast. And you will get through it. But do what's best for you, not just do what you're told to do. And that's how you deal with feedback. Anyway, see